today is a very special day. No introduction necessary on the show. Today is a day that for the remainder of time shall be known as NIL Day across the sporting world. And it is the day in which the NCAA has revoked their restrictions on college athletes' ability to profit off of their name, image, and likeness. And as of today, July 1st, 2021, every single college athlete in the nation, no matter what sport you play, no matter what gender you are, you now have the ability to profit off of endorsements of your name, image, and likeness. And this is something that teams and coaches and players have been fighting for I almost said hundreds. It feels like 100 years, but many years, decades at the very least. And it has been something in which it has become predominantly very apparent just how much money the NCAA had been making previously and how absolutely none of it had been going to the athletes that were playing, despite most of the work being done by the athletes, of course. And today we're going to primarily focus on college football because that's the biggest one. But again, every single athlete in every single sport now has the opportunity to profit off of their image, likeness, and name. There were new rules that are now allow athletes to profit by monetizing social media accounts, signing autographs, teaching camps or lessons, starting their own businesses, participating in advertising campaigns, among many other potential ventures. Athletes will be allowed to sign with agents or other representatives to help them acquire endorsement deals. They will just need to report their business dealings to the universities that they attend. That's kind of the official description that was posted in the ESPN article earlier this morning. And this is fantastic. And I don't need to really tell you how fantastic this is. This is fantastic for the players. This is fantastic for their families, especially families that may be suffering from low-income households in which they could really use the money that, from the talent that their sons or daughters are exhibiting in terms of athleticism on a football field, on a hockey rink, on a soccer pitch, on a baseball field, on a basketball court, whatever have you. This is great for the players. This is great for their families, and it's about damn time. This should have been done a decade ago, and this is fantastic, especially I'm so jazzed about this personally because I have worked in college athletics for 5 years now, and I have reported college athletics for 5 years now, and to be able to understand the gravity and the weight that this new deal holds for the lives of these athletes, it's unfathomable, because they're just young kids. They're young kids that need to find their way in the world, and here they are, trying to chase their dreams. Now there are other ways for them to make money from their God-gifted abilities or the abilities that they have worked so hard for, other than the ultimatum, which is either you make it to the professional level or you don't and you do something else with a college degree. Now, even if you don't move on to the next level or you flame out of the next level, you do have endorsement deals. You do have the ability to make businesses. You do have the ability to sign autographs and do camps and lessons and advertising campaigns. There's so much more on the table. It is less life and death when it comes to making the professional leagues. If you are somebody that is trying to make money off of your talents and your skills, which that's what everybody else in the entire universe does, right? We make money off of things that we are good at. That's what going to work is. That's what having a job is. Now, obviously, it would depend. Depending on how well you flip a burger somewhere. But my point being, right, this is fantastic for the college athletes, and athletes have already, taken, no quarter. They're going after it. Mackenzie Milton, quarterback for Florida State University, and Eric King, who is the quarterback currently for University of Miami, they have already founded a foundation. I think it's called Dreamfield, which will specifically be working with NFT to help encourage and help along other athletes in their ventures, their business ventures. Of course, Mackenzie Milton was the UCF quarterback before he went down with a horrific leg injury. Now he's transferred to Florida State, which is where I work. So this is a little bit of pride speaking for me as well. Normally I go unbiased on these takes, but a little bit of pride for me as well. Milton is now, as I said, working with Eric King, the enemy at University of Miami, to create a Dreamfield Foundation to help these athletes move along, and it is absolutely fantastic. And the ability for these athletes to start profiting off their likeness is something that, as I said, should have been done a full-on decade ago, and now that they finally have the opportunity to do and do things that they normally wouldn't have been able to do is going to make the choice on whether or not to, first of all, go to college, but also where to go to college. It spices things up dramatically. And again, this is coming off of a bunch of pressure applied on the NCAA in the past couple of weeks. Over 24 states had enacted laws that directly imposed the NCAA's regulations on obviously profiting off of player likeness. And some of those major states were major money-making states for the NCAA. So we're talking Texas and Florida and California. Some of those are big, big states. California, I think, was the first major one to start this snowball. And then, of course, there was a big Supreme Court decision that weighed on things eventually as well. Things were just getting too tight for the NCAA to continue operating as the status quo. And they, again, as I have said multiple times, I know this is a pretty unorganized video, but I'm just so happy. I'm so happy for, the sport. I'm so happy for the evolution of college football, basketball, baseball, whatever have you. I'm happy for these kids. I'm happy for these kids' families, especially, these families that really could use the income. And it makes it a less life or death situation as opposed to making it to the professional game for some of these athletes who want to profit off of their skills and their talents. So it's fantastic across the board. You should see sponsorships with players start popping up immediately. It's probably players from Alabama, from Clemson, from Oklahoma, from USC, from University of Florida, Florida State University, like wherever you're going to start seeing endorsement deals pop up all over the place. This is a great day for college sports, and it's an evolution of college sports that needed to happen for close to a decade now. And hey, big thought here that just happened. Maybe we can actually get named players in the new college football video game that's going to be coming out in a few years. That just is the cherry on top for me. That's a little bit of a selfish and personal addition to the video here, but I am so happy about these changes. What do you think about these changes? Make sure to let me know. This is a huge, huge win for the players, their families, and for college sports overall. The NCAA is unfortunately probably going to lose a little bit of money here, but this is an evolution that needed to happen. They couldn't stranglehold the players anymore for any longer than they had already had. Hey guys, Nick Ryan here coming from the editing suite, and I forgot a couple of things that I wanted to put in the segment or say in the segment. I forgot them and I wanted to make sure that they are in the segment, so just a quick little rundown quickly. Things that I forgot: schools will not be able to pay the athletes specifically. That is still an unchanged rule despite the NIL changes. Schools will not be able to pay the players. NCAA rules explicitly prohibit that. There does not prevent or block, however, the ability for players to get into deal with boosters of those schools, so a little bit of a gray area there. Some new state laws address booster involvement in different ways, and some might need further interpretation before it's clear exactly how involved boosters can be in paying those athletes in certain states. It's a state-by-state basis. As I said during the video, there were a bunch of state laws, about 24 states, that kind of spearheaded this change for the NCAA, and every state treated it just a little bit differently. There are restrictions on how athletes can make the money. Obviously, again, that's dictated by state laws and policies, depending on what state that you're in. And as I did say, most state laws provide a time frame in which athletes need to share the details of any potential NIL deals with the school. In some states, the school needs to be to approve the deals ahead of time. And the reason that there isn't one set rule for college athletics, again, is because of all these different states treating these rules separately. So it does come down and it does vary in the state that you are in the state that you are playing in, which again is why I said that it also will impact where these students and where these athletes decide to go to school. That is a new hitch in the belt of deciding where you want to play your college ball if you are a 3, 4, 5-star college athlete that is looking to not only improve their skills at a university but get a good education and also have the potential to make the pro level if that is an aspiration of the player. So huge things that I wanted to make sure got in the video regardless of the smoothness of the video. Again, thank you so much for watching. Now here's me with the outro. Hey folks, thank you so much for listening to this segment from the Hard-Headed Sports Podcast. If you enjoyed this segment, make sure that you drop a like on the video and a comment. It helps me out a bunch. And if you're interested in watching more segments like this from the show after the show has been completed, you should definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you're interested in listening to the entire show in its full-length entirety, you should listen to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. Once again, thank you so much for watching the video. My name is Nick Ryan, and I will see you all again very soon.